Hey everyone, Gregor Scott here, and today I'm joined by Coops, Connor.
Hello, everyone.
We're here today to rank all the Sonic games uh, on one of these newfangled tier lists, which are so popular these days on YouTube. Every major Sonic title is on the side here, apart from Sonic All Stars Tennis. We're sorry to all you tennis fans, we're not going to be ranking it.
Fuck you, tennis fans.
I guess we'll just start right off with the first game on the list here. So let's pick Sonic the Hedgehog, shall we? The original, the first one, the one that they started on.
The original.
Yes. So this one I replayed recently. I played it when I was very young and I enjoyed it. This one is really solid, I would say, but it lacks a lot of what the sequels have, which make them really fun and enjoyable. So I'd say this one is a really good one to start with because we can maybe middle of the list it. I don't know what you think about that.
Well, I've had it on so many machines, in all honesty.
Yeah, me too.
Including my DS as well now, because I found a little collection. I've basically had a lot of Sonic collections, but yeah, it's got very good gameplay, but it does it is lacking something that the other ones do have. So I think maybe an A or B at least.
Yeah, I think it's a good middle of the road. So I guess B is a good place to put it for now, so we can rank other games around that. Okay, and I guess then we'll look at some of the sequels, the direct sequels. So we've got Sonic the Hedgehog 2 here. I would say that it's better than the original. This one, it added a lot more. The gameplay was a lot more fast and fun than the original, which was kind of slow and plodding at a lot of points.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's enough to be up a whole tier. But I guess for now we can put it there. And
It had a very good soundtrack and a large variety of levels that you could go through.
And the levels were really, really good too. So.
Yeah.
Right. I'm thinking A for now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think it's an A tier Sonic game. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 here.
They call him Knuckles.
They call him Knuckles. Unlike Sonic, he does not chuckle. This is a great joke that's not been made a million times.
Yeah.
I would say that this one is not as good as the second one.
Yeah, I'd say it is at least. I'd say it's lays around B.
I think it's around on par with the original. I mean, it has the controls of the second one, but it kind of lacks in a lot of the levels. They go on for too long. They're a little too boring. So
yeah,
we'll put it.
They added like what three? They added like each zone. It was technically 2 zones and then a boss.
Yeah, so...
which I just realized it's just the same with others anyway.
Hmm.
But they were too long. They probably could have been about 3 levels and all that.
Yeah. All right, and now we have Sonic the Hedgehog 4 here.
This is the freaking one on the phone that you can get on your phone.
This was the episodic smartphone release.
Oh.
Which I have played. I played the demo. I didn't pay for it. The gameplay was okay.
It was okay, but it had its problems.
And also it was smartphone controls, which were really annoying to use.
I mean, you can get it on PC, but it didn't make it too better.
Can you? Oh, jeez. Okay. But I'm saying that Sonic the Hedgehog 4 it's not a terrible game, but it's not like a good game. And the fact
I'd
it's on
say
phone,
it's about a C
or D. Like a C in terms of gameplay, but then I guess since it's on PC, I can't really knock it down for being on being smartphone controls, which are always finicky and annoying. So I'll leave it on C for now. I'd say it's middle of the road. We've got Sonic and Knuckles.
Sonic and Knuckles.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed this game a lot as a kid.
Me too. It has...
I liked how each character. I liked how it was a bit different for both the characters when it came to the actual
Yeah, the gameplay was
kind of, yeah, it was quite different for both the characters in terms of how they behaved in the zones.
Yeah, and Sonic, they really tried to go for that fun speed and momentum, whereas Knuckles was a bit more plodding through, which I
still
appreciate.
remember the Mushroom Zones theme.
Yeah, it's a good one, for sure. So I would say that this one probably goes up with 2.
Yeah.
Just thinking about the levels in it and things like that, I thought it was good. I almost put Sonic 3 and Knuckles in here separately because the Knuckles campaign in Sonic 3 is really good.
Yeah.
But I decided not to. So, yeah. And in Sonic CD, which is I've not really touched this one.
I've played it a lot.
I want to give this one a high ranking just because of the cinematic. The cinematic is
the cinematic, the music. It added some interesting features, especially like the future and past, which
past and future
completely changed the zone and the actual music as well.
Yeah, it was a really fun game. It seemed I've played a little bit, and I know enough about it to see that it was really good.
I remember I left the game unpaused once, went downstairs to do something, come back, and then I just see Sonic sick and tired and just jumps off the edge.
You had that happen. Yeah, that was something I knew about that game too, is that Sonic just gets sick of your nonsense if you leave him.
When I first saw it, I was like, what the fuck happened? What's going on?
Oh boy. So yeah, where would you rank this? I guess you can take the reins.
I'd rate it around A.
A? Yeah.
Mainly because of
I just realized what can well actually no, we're about to have the answer. What can we put up above these games? Now that I think about it. But we are moving on to Sonic Mania. Which, can I just say, is such an incredible game, and it's hard to believe that
even without the expansion, expansion as well.
Yeah, I haven't played the expansion. The stock game alone was enough. It was so
Chris
good.
Whitehead has done a very good job.
Did. Props. This game is either an S or double S, but I'm not sure.
I believe, just for now, I think we should keep it on an S.
Yes, and we'll see if any other games on this list are SERP. We might be moving things up and down as we go here. Sonic 3D. This
Blicky's Island.
Yeah, so this was called something else in America. I forget what it was.
I'll have a quick look now.
Yeah, have a check. But this game I played a lot. I really enjoyed it.
It was called 3D Blast.
Sonic's 3D Blast, yeah. I loved this game when I was a kid. I had it on GameCube as part of the Mega Collection, and I played the hell out of it, and it was really fun.
I had it on, I think it was I can't remember, I think it was the Collection Plus. PS2.
That's the one I had, I think, but I had it for
Let me find out.
Yeah, we're not old enough to have been around when a lot of these came out, the originals, but I have played all of them in collection form, and they were very fun. So
I played some of them in arcade form, including Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which I also got one of those little arcade boxes. Which,
yeah. Okay, so I would say that Sonic 3D. I just have very fond memories of it, but I don't think its
gameplay did have a lot of.
It was kind of slow, and it was very much collecting things and then talking to Knuckles and then moving on. But it was a really fun and interesting game, and it was one of the first kind of 3D-ish things, which looked really cool. So
I think it'll be maybe a C.
C seems like a solid choice for me. It's not an exceptional game, but I do remember it fondly, and I don't think it was a bad game. Sonic Spinball. I don't know if you've heard the intro song to this game.
I have.
It genuinely sounds like you're being attacked, like, by the game, like someone's coming after you. It's something, but I really enjoyed this game as a kid. However, it was very slow and annoying and very easy to die and just a huge
It was
pain.
quite temperamental, and I do remember what throwing the controller once because
Yeah, me
I
too.
missed one of the pins.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, it was a really fun put together game, but I think the gameplay was just really not terribly good. So
Yeah.
for that reason, I think this one goes either D or E. D or E tier.
I think it'll be an E.
I think E easily. It's not F or Z tier worthy, but it's.
Don't worry, we'll get to those in a minute.
We'll get to those. No, don't worry, people. So I guess we should maybe go for one of the first racing.
Sonic Drift. Yeah, one of the very first.
Sonic Drift was very old and it hasn't aged too terribly well, but it is fun. It's pretty solid. The tracks are a little one note. It's got that kind of problem with the original Mario Kart.
I remember seeing a lot of the art for the game as well because the collections popped up with them. If I remember correctly, Amy has like a freaking talking car in it as well.
I think so. She has a weird car.
Some weird reason hers is alive while everyone else is not.
Yeah, I would say that the levels are kind of one note, the same way that Mario Kart SNES is, where it's it's like a couple of tracks over and over. I wouldn't play it nowadays. It doesn't really hold up.
It was fun as a kid, but it probably wouldn't do so well.
No, so
when you're grown up. So
I don't think
maybe
it's as bad as Spinball though. So I'm gonna
probably
put
a D. Yeah.
D tier. I think D is safe to go for.
Shall we go for the Mean Bean Machine?
Yes, I love this game. I seriously love this game.
Who can forget the Tetris Bean Machine?
Yeah, it's basically just Puyo Puyo, but with Eggman and Badniks in it, and for that, I mean, it's super entertaining and enjoyable, and I just love it. I think it's a high tier game. It doesn't really count as a Sonic game, but it's just entertaining. And
it's more of a spin-off.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go. In my opinion, I think it's up here in the S
with
tier.
Mania.
With Mania, yeah. Well, I mean, it's actually in Mania. Did you know that? You can unlock it.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the ways to beat one of the bosses too.
Yeah, one of the bosses is literally Beam Machine, but you can unlock a full mode.
It was the chemical plant one, I think. I can't remember exactly.
I haven't unlocked it yet because it's kind of a hard unlock because I'm not very good at the special stages. So it's up to you if you want to dispute that, but I kind of want to put it up in high tier because it's a very
I think it's a high tier game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just fun gameplay. What can I say?
There's not much really to make it a bad game.
No, exactly. It's a safe. It's a block game. It's a Tetris clone. It's not.
Well, Tetris games are safe.
Yeah, they're safe. They're fun.
How can you screw up Tetris?
Sonic R. The music is so good. That song.
Yeah, amazing. The music is very good.
The music alone bumps this one up. The gameplay.
It was a fun game, but the controls.
Were hard and annoying. Turning wasn't so great. Amy Rose has a car for some reason. I don't know why. Everyone else is on foot. It's not terribly fair.
Can't it turn into like a boat in like the one of the?
It hovers over water.
in any water.
Yeah. It hovers over water. I remember the one level which is just kind of like you run up and then down like a weird like tower thing. You always fall off. It's a pain. It's. I want to say gameplay wise it's next to this, but the soundtrack and the presentation alone, especially for the time, makes me want to bump it up here to the C tier alongside Sonic 3D. And
I think we should keep it with C.
Yeah, I think
gameplay was poor. Did have a lot of problems.
Soundtrack incredible, although a lot of games on here are going to get bumped up a lot if we do consider the soundtrack.
Yeah.
So we should decide if we want to do that right now. Because if we're incorporating soundtrack, I think Mania goes up to a double S.
We should make it as an account, but not as one that's going to just bump every single one into the tier. It would really depend
Okay.
on how well the soundtrack actually
Also,
is.
I've just made a decision. I think Sonic the Hedgehog 4 needs to come down next to Drift. I think that's a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, I agree now.
I don't think it's C tier. Looking back at it, I don't know why I made that decision. Okay, Sonic Rush.
So, you said you've not played this one.
I've not played this one. I have played the sequel though, but the original I have not really played. Outside of, I think I might have played it off of yours at some point.
Yeah, you probably have
played the sequel. You were like, "Oh, you should play the original."
Yeah.
Yeah, it does feel really fun, very solid.
It is a very fun game, and it's and making it a 2D game that could run on that handheld, along with it being a modern Sonic game, worked very well.
Yes, and the emphasis is on speed and doing really tricky.
The various stages, the soundtrack, the character. Although there wasn't too much of a difference between Blaze and Sonic themselves.
Yep.
It was still a fun game either way.
Sure, the levels were really solid, and the story was okay, and yeah, I'd say this is a really solid Sonic game in general.
Thinking maybe a B tier.
B seems solid to me. I think that's quite a reasonable thing to do. The sequel, I don't think is on par. It had some annoying 3D levels, a lot of traveling to and from.
Yeah, it was a little bit weird. It was
Yeah.
It had the annoying special stage being on the ocean where you're versing this one weird pirate character that's all about racing.
Yeah.
On your little, what is it called? The little
scooter.
Jet ski. That's a jet ski on water.
And then there was the submarine levels as well and stuff.
Yeah.
It was
traveling around with those. I mean, it was nice that you didn't have to do it every time to get to those zones, but just to find the zone itself is just a nightmare.
So I would say this one, I'm not sure if
I'm happy for the final boss that you didn't actually need to do that.
Yeah. We won't spoil it in case anyone wants to go and play it after we give it this glowing review. But I would say it's not quite as good as the original. It seems. I mean, the gameplay was okay, but I don't know if that's enough to bump it down. What do you think?
Soundtrack wasn't on par either.
No.
Granted, there was a lot more story into it. However,
the story is never the best part of a Sonic game.
It wasn't really as good.
So yeah, I'm gonna bump it down to C from
and at least you didn't have to hear Marine screaming.
That's true. Right. Okay.
We've already got Sticks to deal with. We don't need another raccoon. Okay,
we've got 3 games to look at here. The Advanced series. So I have not played too much of the original. I've heard okay things about the original, but I've heard that it was kind of slow, methodical. I felt like I needed to include it on here, so I would say I'm just gonna put it nice and middle. I think that C is okay. It was a fine for the Game Boy. It was a pretty good Sonic game. Sonic Advance 2 I have played, and I have to say that it was one of my favorite games, period. Just the way that it was laid out, and the levels were really fun and interesting. A lot of them still stick in my head. The soundtrack was very, very catchy. Yeah, it was a really solid Game Boy game, and in fact a solid, Sonic game in general. So I feel like this one deserves to go up a tier to B. I would certainly put it on tier with Sonic Rush. Sonic Advance 3, it was a weird one. It was very different to the first 2.
It was quite different.
It had some weird stuff where you had to run around to find the zones and do weird challenges in
the
overworld, which I wasn't a huge fan of. But then the levels themselves were also kind of boring. Yeah,
there were a lot of boring. And although you had different characters you could play, think, if I remember correctly, you could play Cream and Tails as well.
Yes, you could play like a whole circle of them.
Which, let's bear in mind, with those characters, you could, in a lot of cases, just fly over obstacles.
Yeah, and it was basically, it was fine. I think Advance 3 had a thing where you could play with 2 together.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, and they would combine for special moves, which was kind of interesting, but there was only really one combo, which was, I think Sonic and Tails was the most useful by far.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the other
I think
combos...
it'll have to go down with the original Advance game.
Yeah, sure. I think 2 is on another level from it. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that there. Leave that be. Let's do another racing game, Sonic Riders. This was the original sort of boarding game that they did,
which I also found at Comic-Con last year.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, I found it for the GameCube, and as soon as I saw it, I was just like, bah.
Nice. So have you had a chance to play it?
I have completed the whole game.
Nice.
And I have to say, although in a lot of cases it were fun, the controls made it so annoying when it came to trying to complete the races in first place.
Yeah.
Like one of the Babylon Garden levels that just drove me mental.
Yeah.
It took me a couple of hours to finish it just because of how wonky the controls were for it.
Wow. Well, yeah, that doesn't sound like a terribly glowing review.
But I'd say it was in general it's a fun game. The controls will still have a bit of cause you a bit of issues, but it won't hit you too much.
Okay. So where are you putting this?
I'd have to say maybe a D level.
Yeah, it seems like a fair few of our racers are going down in D level. Okay, let's move on to the Sonic Rivals series. So I don't know if you have played either of these.
I have owned both of them on the PSP.
Yes, these were PSP games, which I got a chance to play. I didn't own a PSP, but one of my brothers did, and they owned both of these games for it, and I played both of them. And if I remember correctly, Sonic Rivals 2 did a lot better than Rivals 1 did.
It did a lot better, yeah. It was a lot more... It was a lot better. There was a lot more characters to play as, because in the original you could only play as Shadow, Sonic and Silver, I believe. Yeah. And I think Knuckles, but I'm not entirely sure.
No, Knuckles was in 2. They had... I'm pretty sure.
I'd have to check at some point anyway.
Sure.
But the first one was they both took a weird way of making a racing game. They sort of added like the classic Sonic games into a sort of race style, and added like sort of a Mario Kart-ish item quip.
Yeah, I remember.
Which was a bit frustrating a lot.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times with those games, it would be a nightmare for you to try and catch up.
Yeah.
But and it did have multiplayer as well. So playing it with friends made it a lot better.
Yes.
But Sonic Rivals 2 was definitely a lot more fun. It had a bit of a better story in terms of it.
The story was good.
Whereas for like each of them and all of them in both games, every character is going to the exact same place, but for different reasons. Especially Silver.
Yeah.
With him, because he is probably like the there's only 3 games that probably have Eggman Nega in it, which is just a alternative dimensional Eggman.
I remember, yeah. It was a weird looking dude.
Sorry, 4 actually. There's 4 of them, and I own all 4 as well. But yeah, I'd say personally, I'd say the first original Rivals was at least a D tier, and Rivals 2 was a C tier.
Okay. I would say I would bump those both down. one. I don't think Rebels 2 was on par with some of the games that we have on the sea level. I think that it was a fun game, but it was kind of strange the way that it played. It wasn't quite the original Sonic experience that you would want, you know. So I would say that the original.
Actually, now that I think about it, it did have annoying little battle modes. So
yes,
maybe let's slow them down.
So we'll put them on C and D, like so. Yeah. And so now
we're now heading to the infamous DS game, Sonic Chronicles.
Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood.
Have you ever played this one?
I owned it, yeah, and I got really frustrated with it. I do not like RPGs.
It was a bit of a weird case since it was Sonic as an RPG. Everyone expected there to be like a fun Sonic game involved with like echidnas and shit, but it was an RPG.
You walked up to a loop-de-loop on the RPG map, which was like a top-down isometric. You pressed A, and then an animation would play as Sonic would go around the loop-de-loop. There was no running involved in that.
It was a map-scrolling game.
It was not a fun game. It was annoying, frustrating, not a good RPG. Certainly not a good Sonic game.
And it had a bit of a weird story too.
Yeah, I'm putting this boy down in F.
I'd agree.
I don't think there's much reason to visit it. It was clearly a cash grab. Not much fun to be had. Shadow the Hedgehog. Speaking of which,
oh boy.
Why don't you take the reins on this one? Considering I have not played this game, but I know all about it.
It was definitely a strange game. I remember actually watching the adverts as a kid and got like a bit surprised. I was like, alright, so there's a Shadow game coming out. Wait, there's guns? There's fucking aliens?
Guns
what the hell's
aliens.
Going on? This is a Sonic game. Why is it trying
this is not
to
just
do
a
its
Sonic
own
game.
version
it's
of
a
a
Sonic
freaking
game where you shoot Sonic to death in the first yeah, it's like, what on earth were they thinking with this one? They were trying to appeal to like an edgy crowd, but it's just like a silly black hedgehog. It's pretty laughable. It's something to behold.
It's like a Sonic version of freaking, how do I explain it? It's like having a freaking FPS shooter game like Call of Duty, but having Shadow as an aliens.
Yeah, it's like having Yogi Bear in like Black Ops. It just doesn't really fit. You know?
I'm smarter than the average bear.
I'm smarter than the average terrorist. Okay.
The controls weren't as annoying as Sonic Heroes, which it was based on the same engine.
Oh, okay.
So I'm happy about that, but there were some levels that were just a nightmare. The other thing is your levels are your progression is completely designed dependent on which side you join, whether you're dark, neutral, or good. So you could literally just go to the end of the goal, which would be neutral.
Where are we putting this? Look at the games on here.
I'd think it would be around E.
E. I think that's about right. We've got E is kind of like a weird oddballs category here. If you look at what we've got on there, you know, it's like
so you've basically set the fate of other games already.
Seems like it. I mean, like, look at these. It's not okay. It's a the tier list is kind of nicely deviating across the graph here. We've still got a bunch to put on though, so let's move on to the sequel to Sonic Riders, and we'll also throw in Free Riders as well afterwards. So Zero Gravity I had on PC. I could not for the life of me get it to run.
Wait, it was on PC?
It was on PC. I had it on CD-ROM.
I don't recall this. I've just googled it and it says it was on Wii and PlayStation 2.
Weird. No, I definitely had a Riders game. Maybe it was the original. I don't know.
Maybe. Do you want me to check?
I definitely had one for PC.
Let's
do a quick check.
Riders was on PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube, and Microsoft Windows, so it might have been that one.
It might have been the original Riders, yeah. I could have sworn it was Zero G though. I don't know. I guess not. I do recognize kind of the neon look, the arrows, like the sort of aesthetic of it. But the game itself ran like garbage.
It did run like garbage, and the one addition to this game, like the other games here, was completely forced motion controls. Well, actually not all. You could actually use the GameCube, but I actually preferred the motion controls over to it because it was a bit more finicky.
I remember now. Yeah, this was not the same one. This was the one on the Wii, which I have played, and the motion controls were less than stellar.
Yeah, they were quite bad. You would most likely hit walls and everything.
Yes.
So it was a bit of a nightmare.
F.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of an F.
This is
and then we come to
Sonic.
To their deformed brother.
Everyone's favorite Kinect game, Sonic Freeriders. Honestly, this game probably does stack up pretty well in terms of Kinect library.
So yeah, in terms of Kinect library, it'd probably do well. It's definitely not Kinectimals level.
No.
I still have this game, but I have not completed it, mainly because the Kinect has this weird thing where if you place your hand to your right, like downwards, like you're like holding a sword or something like that, it'll pause the game. The thing is, because this game requires a lot of motion moving back and forth, the sensor can mistake you for doing that position, whether you're so even though you're placing it in that position instantly or not, you'll be paused, and that just pissed me off too much. Continue.
My vivid memory of this game was standing in my grandma's living room. We took the Xbox up when I got a Kinect and a copy of this game for my birthday, and I remember standing in her living room trying to jump over a wall in the tutorial, which required you to actually crouch down and then jump up. So me, this tubby little kid in my grandma's living room, trying to get the Kinect to recognize that I was jumping and turning in the air so that I could jump over this thing in the tutorial, and it just wouldn't do it. Over and over and over again I tried until I gave up and played, I think Kinect Adventures was the one I played. But this game, the reliance on Kinect controls was really not a good move for the gameplay. We're gonna have to put it down with
Z.
No, it's not a Z. It's not a Z.
I still own this game. I am ashamed of that, but I can't be arsed getting rid of it.
This game, we traded in our Wii for an Xbox. My brothers were both very adamant about it, and I agreed to do it. And the game that I got after trading in, Sonic Colors, I traded in Sonic Unleashed, I traded in a bunch of games, Mario Galaxy, and all these great Wii games, was the Sonic 06, which was really a treat, to try and play through. Look, it's a meme to hate on this game. But
it does outright deserve it.
All the hate is warranted. It's a mess. It's a disgrace. Sonic team should be ashamed of themselves for this one. This is a Z-tier game, without a question. No doubt in my mind. This game should never have existed. Should never have been pushed out.
So now we have Sonic Boom.
Sonic Boom.
Are we accounting the game and the TV show?
No,
because I think the TV show is going to give it B tier.
Yeah, the TV show was fun. I enjoyed it. The episodes I watched of it were very entertaining. The game itself.
Are we accounting all three of the game?
I guess so. I've only really seen the first one, the Wii U game. Yeah. The game was much like Sonic 06, unfinished, unpolished, untested.
So many promises were made that were unfulfilled.
Yeah, the game had really boring, slow sections. The game had really buggy, messy, laggy, fast sections. The game had glitches and mistakes and errors that were just ruined the whole experience. The game could maybe have been something good, but they just didn't put time into it. They should have waited.
It's a shame as well because it was made by Red Button, who made Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank,
which is a very fun game series.
They just
very well game. Has similar like sort of platforming in that to Sonic Boom.
Yeah,
but
it was done,
but did it a lot better.
Is that Sonic is not a slow platformer. It's supposed to be like a fast game, or it's about to be about momentum. It's not about. It's not supposed to be about running around bashing up robots, you know, in slow time. You're supposed to be doing it at speed. So yeah, not a good game. Buggy, broken, messy, and I mean, what we say for the first game applies 100-fold for the other two. We can put it down in Z tier. So
now we have Lost World, which everyone has always said was a copycat of Mario Galaxy. However, there is a Sonic game, Sonic Extreme.
Yes.
Where the entire level was on a entirely sort of 3D dimensional style as to Galaxy.
Yeah. The thing is, right, it can't be said to be copying Mario Galaxy because Mario Galaxy was actually good. And Sonic Lost World was one of the most frustrating and irritating and annoying gaming experiences I've ever had. I got the game for free and I still wanted my money back. This game was not fun.
You wanted inflation. That's what you wanted.
Yes, definitely. That's exactly what I wanted. No. The thing is, the game, the running mechanics I didn't enjoy. The game.
It was nice that you could have like a sort of area, an option where he could like run and then like go full speed. It was nice that you could have the options to change the speed. However,
just the level design did not accommodate for that. It was a problem.
The level design was too precise to basically meaning that the extra speed was completely pointless.
If it could have been more designed like one of the original games, where the levels flow and you jump and like slide and go around, and the parkour was incorporated into these crazy, rushing sequences.
There were entire levels where you were on a grind rail as well. That was quite annoying.
Sonic Lost Worlds, the level design is really poor. The gameplay is really poor. It's
I think it deserves either an F. I think it deserves an F tier.
I think it's not quite as bad as the things in F tier. No, actually, I think it's F tier. I don't think it's quite Z tier is what I meant to say. So yeah, F tier.
It's definitely F tier, not Z tier.
Yes, disappointing.
So
I had a lot of hope for it.
So now we're on to the most recent one, I believe.
Yes, Sonic Forces.
Sonic Forces. Have you played it yet?
I have. Yeah, I played through a bunch of it on my
I remember
Switch.
your hatred when you gave it a try.
I spent all my time making a stupid character, and then the problem is that the levels you start with are all really boring, and then I get to the boss fight with the guy from Sonic Lost World, which is the one they open with. They have all these amazing enemies coming back from the whole series, and they go with the worst one first, and he's a pain in the ass to beat. It's annoying, and then the game doesn't get better.
I think the one thing that frustrates me the most is that the demo, you had a time limit to how long you could reach it, how long until you could go before reaching the end. But the problem is, it was so tuned that you didn't realize that when you got the first game, you would have needed just an extra 2 seconds to reach the end of the level. And the problem is with these levels is that they're so short. They are way too short for a Sonic game.
The game is way
You could
too
literally
short.
complete a level under a minute if you wish, without even being a speedrunner.
Yeah, and that's not good. And the gameplay is kind of boring boost gameplay.
It's quite dynamic in the types of the options you have. You have your little character, you have classic, and
why
modern.
is classic Sonic in there? You know what? It's because it was good in Sonic Generations, but it doesn't make sense.
It was good in Sonic Mania and Sonic Generations. He's now apparently in this game he is now from another dimension.
Yeah,
I guess they just went to the way of freaking I guess they went into the way of sorry, not Infinity Wars, Endgame, where it's basically.
Oh jeez, that's spoilers. I'm gonna beep that out. But yeah,
hey, they should have seen it already. It's been
I guess
more than a
so.
month now.
Yeah, fair enough. The thing with this game is it's unfocused. They're just trying to please all the fans.
And another problem is it's way too easy. The only time I can say where it's not too easy is literally when they go all ham on the final boss, and that's it.
Yeah.
It still frustrates me that it was so easy to beat all the other bosses to complete the entire game, but then just get hit in the face with a brick at that.
Yep, Sonic Forces easy Z. Not fun. Try harder. Please make a good Sonic game, Sonic Team, please.
So we have now another racing game, Sega All Stars Racing, which came out for the Xbox 360 and PS3. I can't remember if there's any others, however.
I think it's on PC.
I'll have a quick little look. I know that the
Transformers was. But racing itself, I have played. Had Billy Hatcher in it, which is kind of fun. Yeah, the whole game overall was a pretty solid racer. It wasn't
came
so
out
bad.
for Wii, Android, Xbox 360, and an arcade game.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's not on PC.
Oh wait, hold on. It says more. Yeah, it looks like it may be on PC.
Yeah.
Right, but
yeah. So this it was a pretty solid racer, I would say.
It was a fun game. It was a fun game. The soundtrack, although the soundtrack was literally just a copy and paste of each game levels from each franchise, it was still pretty decent.
Yeah.
I actually can't remember if there's even. I remember there being Billy Hatcher levels along with Sonic levels and a few more, but I was just wondering if Knights' levels were even in it.
I can't remember. Thing is, both of these games are very similar in my mind. All Stars Racing and All Stars Racing Transform. Was there much difference between the gameplay of the two? Because otherwise we can just put them pretty close together.
In terms of gameplay, I'd say there is a difference mainly in terms of the transformations for All Stars or Racing Transform. Mainly because of the fact that you could play on boats or as planes. Which, in all honesty, it was okay. It was just a bit weird to get used to. You did have to adjust 100%.
I just remember they had Wreck-It Ralph and Simon from the Yogscast in that game.
Yes, that was weird. Simon was only for the PC one though.
PC one, yeah. Yeah. It was an odd one.
And I think that was mainly because they were sponsoring the game.
Yeah. Yeah, well no, it was for the charity event, the Jingle Jam. Yeah.
So in terms of them both, I think they both deserve to be on the same tier.
Yeah.
But I think that tier is a little bit. I think that tier is decent for it to be at least a D.
I would find it hard to put it up here with Advance and Advance 3. Well, actually, would I? It's not too hard to believe. No, I think D is probably about right. I mean, for some reason, all these racing games are down here in D tier, except for Sonic R because of its soundtrack. But it's basically on D as well, which is kind of funny because like Sonic pretty much hasn't quite hit the mark with racing games.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of good things about the new one though.
Yeah, neither of us have played it. We'll hopefully get a chance to, and we'll maybe try and put a video up.
It did just release, so that's why.
Yeah. Maybe at some point we'll get a chance to play it for the channel, but we'll see.
So I think it's best to do.
Sonic Adventure DX
originally came out for GameCube and what's the name of that? The
originally
Dreamcast.
Came out for Dreamcast. It got remade. DX was the one for GameCube because I never played the Dreamcast one. DX had some extra modes. I think I can't remember exactly how much.
I think they also made changes so that there wasn't such ugly faces.
Yes, they slightly improved the modeling and things like that. The game is fun and memorable. The main levels are all pretty fun. The open world exploration is kind of irritating, and you can get lost easily if you don't know where you're going.
Yeah, and the fact that it doesn't really tell you where to go. It just says, like, either asks you with a question or makes it so vague you have to just browse about and figure it out on your own.
Yeah, pretty much. Which is not great design for the adventure part, but I mean, it did make it kind of exciting when you did find where to go after you wandered around the whole place.
It was also the one to start the Chow Gardens as well, which a lot of people did enjoy, including myself.
Yeah. Look, I think it was a solid game. I think it was a lot of fun. I think its shortcomings can be largely overlooked over time, now that people are familiar with the game, that we can pick the gameplay for what it is. It is a little buggy, but I've never really experienced the bugs that people say, apart from
I've experienced a few bugs, but not a lot.
The first level where you constantly fly off that one corner, pretty much everyone does it. Yeah, I want to say that this one is a little higher than it's certainly at least a C, I would say.
I believe it's a C. Yeah, a
C seems like a good spot to put Adventure DX. I've heard they might be remaking it.
We all heard it, and we're all hoping for it.
Yes, fingers crossed.
So now we're on to sequel to Adventure 2, also known as 2 Battle if you got it for the GameCube.
Yeah, the Battle DLC for Steam as well. I had it for GameCube, the 2 Battle version. Yeah. I love this game, and this game is really solid, I would say. It's probably the best.
There's not really a lot of bugs in it, so the chances of you ever hitting one are extremely low. Since I've played it, and I still play it to this day, I have not witnessed an actual bug.
Yeah, I think that this game is probably the single most solid 3D Sonic game that's been made.
And for multiplayer as well, it is a good option because it gives you the ability to race, to battle, and to gem hunt against each other, against another person in total. Yeah, which is a very fun thing.
It is fun.
So the story's pretty decent. It still has held itself well known to this day, so I believe it's at least an A.
Yeah, I kind of want to bump it. Well, I don't know. Is it better than the originals? I want to say it is. I think it's a really well put together game, probably more than a lot of the games on here. We can always reshuffle at the end just to see. I'm gonna put it on the line at the moment because I think it's definitely between. By the way, we're not gonna be the kind of people to leave anything on the line. This is by the end of this,
that's just annoying.
But for now, it's staying there until we compare it to some other games on here.
Sonic Heroes.
Yes, Sonic Heroes.
A sort of game that's also technically a sequel to Sonic Adventure 2, except on a different planet.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
It's the gameplay of this one was okay.
It was okay. The controls, however, were quite annoying. They did have a lot of issues where the game. Personally, I think the game was too fast in terms of speed.
At times, yeah, definitely could have gone a little slower. Which is
funny
to see.
There were a lot of bugs and glitches. There's an entire level. I think it's Death Canyon or something.
Yes.
Where you're all on grind rail and you're 100% likely to just to skiff on one of those grind rails and fall to your doom.
Yeah.
It was a bit weird for them to make it to give all enemies health. So like your standard Badnik could have
3 health,
like 3 health or that. But in terms of like how you traverse through the actual levels, it's nice that you had like it was entirely team based and each character had their own purpose.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem as you progressed further, it didn't seem as necessary.
The game was kind of confused in how it progressed because there was so many different stories you could play. I forget how many teams. I think it was four or five teams you could play in the game, and each one kind of like the length of each story
there was 5.
was kind of variable. Was there 5? What's the 5th?
There was Team Sonic, Team Amy, Team Dark, Team Chaotix,
and what's the 5th?
and oh wait, no, I must have counted the. Every time I look at it, I always I keep on forgetting about the Metal Sonic final, the team final thing that appears on the team selection.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's only when you finish all the special stages, which is annoying.
Yeah. This game, is it better than Sonic DX?
I'd say it's better than Sonic DX,
but not as good as Sonic 2.
Yeah.
So I think it sits in the B tier.
It also did have a very good soundtrack.
It did have a really good soundtrack. The theme song is incredible. So, yeah, I'm putting that in B. I think that's. I
still enjoyed to this day the bingo one. Sorry, the casino level.
Yes.
Music.
Very fun.
Casino
very
Zone.
Fun. Sonic and the Secret Rings.
So
this has been the one
you're
I've been
still playing.
through. Yes, I'm coming back to it. I think you'll join me for the next couple episodes, right?
I'm happy to do so.
Great. Yeah. So this game is a mess. This game, the controls are not.
It's
fun.
one of the first Sonic games to implement motion controls.
I got used to it, and it's kind of enjoyable. It's enjoyable in the same way that I imagine like rodeoing, wrangling a horse is enjoyable because you barely have control over it. And so it's kind of a thrill just to try and get Sonic to the end without hurting himself. Especially considering some of the levels are like, don't pick up a ring, and there's rings everywhere. And you have to like balance a Wii remote to try and not get Sonic.
The problem with this game though is that the levels are way too linear. Like there's a lot of people that really don't like how linear Sonic Adventure 2 is, or like Sonic Heroes. But the problem is they at least give you at least have an option of direction, whereas this one you're forced to stay on a straight line.
Pretty much, you can back up, but you cycle backwards.
Like however, it's a bit of a nightmare to do unless you equip the backwards flip skill.
Yeah, so I think a solid place for this one is definitely below C. I would say that this game is.
I believe it's an E tier, personally.
E tier is about right. I think the novelty games are all collecting still in E. And I think we should just do Black Knight at the same time.
Right. So this game
but
it made improvements. So for the one thing it improved was the fact that you could change your direction a little bit. You could choose sort of where you wanted to go.
Yeah.
And you also could use the nunchucks, so you weren't actually limited to fully using the motion controls. The only time you would use the motion controls is for homing attacks and sword swinging.
Yeah.
And that's really it.
The game
the music's
was
actually
annoying and too hard, and well, not hard in a good way, hard in an annoying way.
It's not as difficult as Sonic and the Secret Rings, but it's enjoyable.
Sure, the story was fun.
The soundtrack's pretty decent. The story's pretty good, but it's still way too linear.
Yeah, way too linear. Not very fun gameplay.
And there's a lot of the combat requires you to be a little bit too precise.
So I don't know if we should put it next to Black Knight or if it deserves to get bumped up one to D.
I think it should be bumped up once, but that's it.
Yeah, I'll
that's only because it's made. That's only because it's made the improvements it made from the other one.
From Secret Rings, yeah, it gave a little more control, and it was fun.
I can't wait to the next one. We'll just see like a bronze Sonic text.
Maybe they'll give Sonic a gun. Who knows? Okay, Sonic Unleashed.
Sonic Unleashed. So this was one of the games which started the original Hedgehog source engine. So
this game is half good.
Undeniably, the game's engine sucked. The engine was very.
I would say the day levels in this game are some of the best 3D Sonic levels. Period.
They are quite fun.
the night levels are subpar.
It's a mix
some are
of
okay.
general Sonic game plus your standard hack and slash combat.
So where this game sits on the ranking depends on what platform you played it on. Because I played it on the Wii, which didn't have the open world exploring, which actually improved the game.
It didn't have the hub worlds, which were nice. Yeah. You had a bit of...
were confusing and irritating to figure out what to do, you know?
There was also there was the stages. There's 2 stages. One when you're on your way to Eggman Land, and the other one when you're on your way to Spagonia, where you have to fly on the tornado and sort of do a button mash air battle, which was just a bit annoying. It also did incorporate this weird thing on ramps where you'd have to you got like a set of buttons you were supposed to press, and if you pressed them right, you would progress. If you didn't, you fell.
The Wii one had that. It was that was the first game to introduce that, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I enjoyed the day gameplay. The night gameplay was laggy and irritating, and the hub world on Xbox was just really annoying.
Yeah.
Just for the day levels alone, though, and the night levels being kind of bearable, I want to say that this one is definitely above D tier.
I'd say...
I want to say it's C, or maybe even B, but
I'd say maybe a B.
B. That puts it next to Sonic Heroes, by the way.
I'm trying to think.
I'm not happy about. I think C is okay.
Yeah, probably
puts it
C
next
then.
to DX, which is reasonable. I need to actually shrink some of these down on here so we can fit this in.
So
let's do some quick corrections here. I think that Sonic Adventure 2 is definitely solidly up in S. Sonic Heroes is up in A. Adventure DX is still in C, that's fine. We haven't actually put anything up in the double S, so we should maybe reshuffle a little bit. Sonic Mania is a double S game, definitely.
Maybe put Sonic the Hedgehog 2 into the level.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Sonic and Knuckles is fine in A. Sonic CD is maybe
that's
up
fine.
in S.
That's fine in A.
Okay, Sonic Heroes in A is good. I feel like Adventure 2 should be down in A.
Alright then.
Yeah, okay. I think that's probably for the best, because I don't think it's quite on par with the other stuff there.
So now we've got the other ones. Because I think the rest of them are completely fine.
Yeah, I think so. So let's move on to some of the best games here. We've got Sonic Colors.
So this came out for both the Wii and the DS. I think it was 3DS. I can't remember exactly.
3DS, yeah.
It was it basically ran on the same engine as Sonic Rush and Sonic Adventure. Same style.
Yeah.
Same mechanics in terms of boost, but you were given wisps, which were basically, I'd say the best way to describe them is that they were basically your Super Mario Galaxy power-ups.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna stick to the Wii one for now, because I think the DS one was a solid game.
Yeah.
But the Wii one was very good. Very good game.
It was a very fun game. It was one of the ones where it gave you such an option of controls as well, which everyone just stick to GameCube or Nunchuck anyway.
Yeah.
Multiplayer, it was very limited. You only had like these little side scroll levels where you did played as little Sonic droids.
Yeah.
And you had to get the emerald.
I would say overall the gameplay was fun. I can't really think of a point where it got bogged down. It was all
the soundtrack is absolutely brilliant, especially the opening.
It slaps. Yep. So yeah, this is a high ranker for sure.
So personally, I'd say it's either an S or a double S.
I think it's S. I think it's up with Mania, honestly. Although, okay, let's put it on the line for now. I want to move on to Generations. because Generations is just a phenomenal game.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, it doesn't do much outside of levels, but the levels it does are just the best. They're so good. Every single one is tightly designed, very faithful at the same time. The music is all very good. All the
mix up of classic and modern was very great as well.
Yep, they actually did it properly in this game. This game is a double S.
And the world was very good as well. It was very simple. The overworld was very simplistic,
but it was still fun. And the power-up system, the level-up system was fun too.
The extra missions you could do too.
It's so funny that the best Sonic games are ones that are like remembering old Sonic. It's really, really funny to think about. And so now that we've done that, we need to think whether or not Sonic Colors goes up with Generations or down below it. What do you think?
I still personally think it's a double S tier. There's nothing much really wrong with the game.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's probably pretty fair. So I'm going to put it up here. And just to do some reshuffling, I think that 2 now would go up here to an S tier. Heroes stays down at A. Advanced 2 comes up to A. Advanced 3 comes up here. And Sonic DX comes up here. Unleashed stays where it is. Actually, no. I'm gonna bring. No, you know what? I think that's fine.
Yeah, that's.
And everything down here is definitely.
In they stay back. Go back in your hole.
Yeah, just stay below there. And finally, just a silly one to throw in. We've got Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. This is a solid game.
This was one of the original games that came out with the Wii as well. I remember.
It was very fun. I remember enjoying it a lot.
If you didn't have a family, you wouldn't like this game. If you did have a family, you would enjoy it so much, no matter what age you were.
F for family. No, let's go with C. I think a C is okay.
So, in terms of the stuff you could do, there was a wide variety of games you could play. There were a few kinks that did happen with it since it was the first Olympic game. Are we just accounting for the Beijing Olympic Games one?
The original one, yeah. Just forget about all the other ones, honestly. It's fine.
Because if that were the case, London Olympics all the way up at double S.
Jeez Louise. I remember the 3DS version. It was okay. This is a C tier.
It was a fun time when that Olympics was happening.
Or maybe I'm just wanting a C tier because I really badly want to fill this little gap right here on the tier list. It might be higher, but then again, I don't really want to put it higher. It was
a solid game in terms of playability and stuff you could do, but that's really all it did much. It was just a mini games game.
So C. So there we go. That's our tier list. This is our Sonic official tier list. I'm pretty proud of what we've managed here.
Yep.
This is a pretty decent distribution of Sonic games. It shows you that most are just average and forgettable. There's a great deal of really bad games and a couple of really good games.
Yeah.
So Sega, make a HD remake of Dr. Robotnik's Beam Machine and you'll be laughing, rolling in dough. I think that's our conclusion. Yeah. Beat
Tetris Battle Royale with...
Yes. Robotnik's Mean Bean Royale. Let's get it. Okay. Right. I think that about does it for today. Anything you want to say before we go?
Enjoy life, I guess.
Nice. Enjoy life, I suppose. And I hope you all do enjoy and maybe play some of these Sonic games. If you disagree with our tier list, you're wrong. Goodbye.